Hello, everyone. My name is Darian Ellis, and I'm here with the Houston 100, powered by the Minority Report. Today, my guest is the incredibly talented Mr. Daimian Hines, principal of Hines Architecture and Design. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Well, I don't do this often, but I'm an architect, a minority architect here in Houston with an international practice focusing on design that impacts communities. So that's what I do on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, so I want to start. Please let us know, how did you know that architecture was for you? What was the inspiration?
The inspiration, it was a challenge. I would say a long time ago back in Jamaica, my uncle, grandfather, they all worked in the forestry. On the weekends, they would build small houses.
Okay.
And when I came to the U.S., a couple instructors, teachers saw that, had an interest in art, but I think they wanted me to do more.
Right.
So they introduced me to architecture. First architect they introduced me to was a black architect named Mark English, and that was in Detroit. And that kind of just spurred my interest and took me to the University of Michigan, took me to India, took me to Southeast Asia, took me to Chicago, the Caribbean, and France, and here I am in Houston.
So, what do you enjoy most about being an architect?
I think the cool part is at the beginning when you meet with the client. And for me, I focus on commercial or large scale residential. Meeting with the client, and you'll be surprised. A lot of people just don't listen. And if you listen, you could actually help your clients realize their vision. And so that part is always interesting. And then the unique part is when these ideas turn into actually construction and you see bulldozers taking your ideas and building these things that will last long after you're gone.
So, if we have any budding architects out there who are interested in getting into this field, can you give them like a time span from the minute you meet with the client for when you actually sit down, start sketching out your work? What's that process like?
Yeah, great question. And what I'll tell anyone interested in architecture, I'm also the president of the Houston chapter of the National Organization of Minority Architects.
Wow.
Follow us, join us, reach out. We have lots of mentor. We have lots of people who are willing to help you. But it depends, right? It depends on if it's a large project, if it's a small project. I would say construction-wise, most large projects, you have 18 to 24 months to get it built. The front end, when it's on paper, it's really down to you as a client, right? I could hit a home run, but sometimes it's a slow match where we're trying to figure out what you want, and it's all about how familiar you are with the process, and it may take time, right? And it all depends on your budget as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, just you as a minority-owned business owner, tell me, what was your biggest challenge for building your firm?
Yeah, that's another great question. I think one of the biggest challenges is I want to be recognized as an architect that does great work. All right. The challenge is it's sort of a duality, being an architect and being a black architect.
Right.
And sometimes being a black architect, you're placed in the box. And it's really about moving beyond that box. How do you do that? And so that becomes a challenge. Oftentimes, too, we don't have an established network like lots of the other majority architects. And so we have to literally mind and find work and market even that much more and build relationships.
Wow. Okay. So I know that you travel international. That's where a lot of your work is. And we know COVID has come and impacted all of our lives. How are you adjusting to that?
It's, one interesting point is I built my firm on being I'm big on technology, being virtual. Lots of my clients, we were meeting virtually anyway. And so transitioning wasn't that hard. The toughest part is my staff, most of them I've not seen since March. It's
Wow.
all virtual. And obviously, from a marketing standpoint, riding the momentum of recent wins, that's been a challenge because it's tough to get new work when through Zoom or GoToMeeting and things like that. So that's the biggest challenge.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's to my knowledge that you actually landed the Jamaica, it's the House of Parliament?
New Houses of Parliament.
New Houses of
for the
Parliament in
government of
Jamaica. That's
yeah.
amazing. What would you say is the most rewarding thing, other than the financial profits, obviously? What is the most rewarding thing to you about your business?
Well, I warned you that talking about the Jamaica Project sometimes gets me emotional.
That's fine.
Being born and raised in Jamaica, coming to the U.S. for education, and winning an international project, competing against the best in the world
That's big.
to do a project in your home country, it's rewarding. It's absolutely rewarding. It's rewarding for my parents, my family, and I would argue the government is also proud that a native son beat international competition to land this work. And so that's been a high point in this long career.
Yes. Well, congratulations again. We look forward to seeing exactly what you're going to do in the future. Please let our viewers know where they can find you and your firm.
My firm is Hines Architecture and Design, hinesad.com. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. And again, my name is Daimian Hines. If you Google me, I'm sure you'll find a way to me.
Well, again, thank you so much, Daimian. It was a pleasure interviewing you. My name is Darian Ellis here with the Houston 100, powered by the Minority Report. Stay tuned.